Okay, Kermit Weeks here, Fantasy of Flight, and I am coming up to the Deland airport. I spent about 2 hours fighting
at the stop sign. Turn left onto Flightline Boulevard.
Central
then take the first
Florida
right.
Traffic. They've overdeveloped the Deland airport, and I'm heading up to MT Propeller to pick up 2 weeks special props. One which was overhauled, and
Turn
the other
right.
one.
Then the destination is on your right.
The other one was to. There we go. Airport restaurant, MT Propeller, right there. Deland Municipal Airport. Anyway, picking up 2 props, and I'm going to meet Kim Kovach at Kevin Kimball's. And we're going to show him the Vega, as well as him picking up the good prop and me taking the static prop back to Fantasy of Flight. So anyway, there's MT Propeller. Well, let me park and go check it out. Peter Marshall is the vice president, and I told him I'd be here about 11 o'clock, and that's basically what time it is. So let's go check it out. All right, MT Propeller. I got a lot of no entries, and it looks like an office. All right, we're rolling. What's happening? Where's Peter? Cool. Awesome. There's a little prop. Do I need to grab them? Yeah, I'm just picking up 2 props. Kermit Weeks from Fantasy of Flight.
How are you, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I told him the GoPro to be running, so
The GoPro be running?
I'll promote you guys on my YouTube channel.
He has his hair done, right?
Okay.
You're on Kermit.
What's happening?
Good to see you.
Good. Awesome. Super. Oh my gosh. Well, this looks like the proper place.
Working away.
Oh wow. My God. Garrett was down at my place probably a couple of years ago. I did a video. I met him in 1978 in Czechoslovakia, you know? Anyway, so I thought with the boxes that I've got, there's one that's good that I'm gonna take over to the guy that's gonna redoing my airplane, and then I'm gonna take them both now, but I gotta know which one's which.
Okay. Yep. They've got them marked in the boxes.
Okay,
there,
good.
So
Okay, good.
It'll be good to go
Okay,
there.
good. So can you tell me a little bit about what y'all do here?
Yeah. So they're doing all the overhaul work here. So all the manufacturing's done in Germany. Here we're doing the overhaul, sales, service, product support, basically. So we'll do the complete overhaul here, disassembly, Magnaflux, all the NDTs done here. We do all the plating here. And then in the back, they're doing the blade work, so sanding the blades down, doing the paint, fiberglass, and carbon fiber, and all that sort of work.
Wow. And how long has this facility been here?
This has been here 20 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And I guess the 2 props that I got, one had why wasn't it overhauled? One had, or they both have McCauley hubs?
Yeah, there was something with the hub in one of them. I think the hub wasn't good anymore.
Okay.
So.
Well, cool. All right. So, and do y'all do repairs on the composite ones? Because I see metal ones. Or are these all?
These are all composite.
They're all composite.
Back here, you can see
you just paint it so it looks like metal.
Right.
Oh wow. So how did you get hooked up with Garrett? to do this?
You know, I started with them as a technical sales rep about 11 years ago, doing the air shows and that sort of thing. And then
here. In the
yep,
States,
here,
okay.
and just kind of progressed from there.
Because you don't really have a German
Not very
accent.
thick. No, I've been working on it. So they're doing back here. They do all the sanding and media blasting.
Okay.
So these are blades with the leading edges removed.
Right.
Getting ready to go get new nickel leading edges put onto.
Okay.
And then the next room, they're doing all the fiberglass work, carbon fiber, getting everything laid up over here.
Wow.
So these are all blades in various stage of overhaul.
And y'all paint them and everything
Yep,
here
and
too.
then we do all the paint work here, so these you can kind of see the layup underneath of
Oh
that
my
blade.
gosh.
With a beech and spruce wood underneath of it.
So, okay, so when I thought composite, I was thinking they were like carbon fiber or something, or
So they are. So we call it a natural composite,
Right.
versus we call like some of the other ones an artificial composite, where it's a foam core. So we use the beech and spruce wood because it has the best vibration dampening. And then depending on the application, they're wrapped in either fiberglass or carbon fiber. The carbon fiber gives a little bit more stiffness to the blade, and the fiberglass allows a little more flex.
And so how do you determine what I mean, did they play with this and test it? And
Yeah, so this is all from the the engineering in Germany, and they go through and calculate it based on the blade and how it's going to be set up there. But the basic layup, of these kind of fingers coming up is the same on all the blades.
Right. Oh, okay. Interesting. So this is the mahogany, and this is
This is beech and spruce wood.
beech and spruce.
Yep.
And does that actually go right up there like
It
that?
does, yeah. So it's laid up in thin strips. They inject it with an epoxy. They call it plasticizing it, and then it goes into a press, which makes it a really dense core. And then their CNC machine cut out from there for the basic blade shape, and then hand sanded and finished. All the glass layups done by hand on them right now.
Wow. And so, what? Some kind of epoxy or something?
Yeah, it's an epoxy they use for the core initially. Yep, and then like these are turbine blades, which would have the carbon fiber on them. These are smaller blades that'll have
Like for a
fiberglass.
PC-12 or something?
Yep, that's exactly the PC-12 blades.
Huh. Interesting. And so, I mean, Garrett had 5-bladed ones, and now he's got a 7 on the
And we've
PC-12?
flown 9 blades on our Cheyenne.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. But somebody was telling me that the 7-blade, the tow bars won't fit.
So we made an adapter for the tow bars
Oh,
for the
okay,
7
good.
blade that it comes off the
Okay.
gear and 45s
All right.
down to make it a
I'll
little
come
bit
and
better.
see if I ever get a PC-12.
Yeah, right. So the diameter is the same. The 7
Huh.
blade and the 5 are the same. There's just less blade spread on the 7 blade between them, so it's a little tighter.
That's interesting. What's that there for?
That's a single blade balancer. So all of our turbine blades are matched to a master blade. So we can go, if somebody has damage on a single blade out in the field, we can take a blade out there and swap it, on the on wing on the airplane.
So what do? You put one on one side and you put the balance on the other?
So this they have set up. This is set up for matching the blades as they're doing the paint. So as they prime, they check the balance between the blades. As they do the paint stages, they'll match them so the blades balance.
Oh, I see.
When we're doing the turbine blades,
So
then
that's
they'll
pretty
swap
cool.
out for this
So
fixture.
that rolls there
it's
for the
just
balance.
a knife edge balancer. So they put a blade
Yeah.
on both sides to check them, and then use lead to balance them in the centers. For the single blades, they switch to this fixture and then put the blade on, and they set based on where the weight is.
Right.
Here, set the weight to balance it against and check the blade and match it to the master blade as close as they can so that they're interchangeable.
Wow. So obviously there's multiple master blades around. You guys got one. They got one in Germany,
Yeah,
Straubing.
so in Germany they kind of do the original one and match it, and then we have a book that has all the weights of the blade
Right.
itself. So we're matching it to a weight on those.
Okay, so is it actually a blade or is it just a weight?
It was originally a blade.
Right,
So they
okay.
make the original blade
Right.
that has the weight, and then they say, okay, this is the master weight for these blades, and then
Right.
so we're balancing them all to that weight.
Because you've got length on it, so you've got a torque that depends on the...
Right.
Interesting. Wow. Unreal. Too cool. So he's stripping it out there, right? Doing
Yeah,
something.
prepping to install a new nickel leading edge. Yeah.
Huh. And now, does another one go here, or does something else go there?
The boot goes up. To,
Oh, the boot.
yeah,
Okay.
From there, yeah.
Okay. Too cool. Wow. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, here we have paint booths running. They're in there painting now.
Oh, wow.
Shipping, receiving, coming and going. We have a kind of an odd-shaped paint booth that looks like a container, so that we can take the 5 and 7 blade props assembled if we need to, and roll them in there and be able to paint them in assembled condition if they need some kind of touch-up.
That's tall.
It is, yeah.
Huh.
But once you get that, that 5-blade prop on a stand is pretty close to the top of that all the way up.
So is there like stairs and levels?
Yeah,
in
they
there
would just
for him to
turn it
paint?
on the stand. You can rotate the propeller so they can paint it and rotate it as it goes.
Wow. Man. That's a 7-blader right there, huh? Is that for a PC-12?
Those are top secret.
Oh, top secret. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Can't see it. Okay. Yeah, I think these are the drones flying over New Jersey right now.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, those will fit in my car.
Yeah, those
Okay,
should be fine in there.
so which one's
We'll
which?
have to take a look and see. I've never opened them since they sent them back to us.
Oh, you're kidding.
So
Okay.
We've had them sitting here, so we'll pop them
So,
open and see what's
do you
going
want
on
me to just back my car up
You can just
now?
back right
Okay,
up
and then
here and
we'll
get you loaded
okay,
up.
cool.
We'll pop 'em open
All
real
right,
quick.
let me go do that. I'll be right in there. Too cool. Wow. A lot of wooden props says MT on it. So what's this one for?
That was for a steerman.
A steerman. Okay. So it was interesting because a friend of mine, I've got a Fuselage storage,
Right.
and the Military Aviation Museum's got one, and their prop was bad, so they were asking me where I could get one, and I told them about Sentinels, and then it dawned on me. I look at mine was originally a Hoffman propeller, but then they don't make them anymore.
You're right.
Does Garrett make them?
We can make them. Yeah, we've made one for a Fuseler before.
Okay, because when they went to Sentinich, I didn't think about MT, but when they went to Sentinich, I think they had to pay like $5,000 to get the tool or the setup made.
Okay.
So is that something you
It
guys
probably would have been
charged?
similar, but
Okay,
yeah, we
all
can
right,
we can
okay.
do them though. We
All
did
right.
one for a storage not that long ago, so it
Okay.
can be done.
All right. Well, anyway.
So
All right. Let me go grab my.
Yeah.
Go grab my
we'll pull
car.
around this goes back up to the front of the parts room. This is
Cool.
pretty cool is our parts machine.
Parts
This
machine.
is a carousel machine for the parts in here. Got it.
Oh no way! Oh, so it goes around like a. If it works.
There we go. Just went to sleep. It has a safety barrier on there if anything's in the light barrier. It'll turn itself on. So this thing will just
Oh
cycle through all
wow!
the parts.
Cool. I'd like a chocolate donut with frosting, please. That is too cool. Oh my! What are the big springs for?
So those are return springs for the turbine propellers. So those are the front springs. Basically, when they're in there, the oil pressure's coming into the back of the hub, pushing against the piston. Those return springs are in the front, pushing back. So that's what brings you back to the course pitch or pushes it back to feather when you shut them down.
And there's 2 springs in each
springs,
one?
yeah.
God, those are
Those
big.
are huge. Yeah, you can put those in
Heavy.
your car.
God, those are so heavy. Oh my gosh. All right, let me go grab my car.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Too
gonna
cool.
get you loaded up here.
All right. Hey, so who's got the little extra thing over there? I saw a hangar.
Oh, that is extra. They moved down here. Walter opened up his own
No
shop like Gerd.
kidding.
Yeah,
No
they
kidding.
did that. It's been a couple of 2 years
Does
ago
Walter
now.
ever get over here?
He's been here. Marcus comes over some.
I'd
but
love to
they've
see him. I
done
haven't
Vedas
seen him in
usually over there.
forever.
So, but they opened up when Kramer sold Southeast Aero and all that sort of stuff changed around. Then Walter opened up his own shop. Gerd had told him for years,
Right,
you should just have your own thing. So
right.
that's extra USA now.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Super. All right. Patty. I know most of these people probably.
She loves that picture. It might be a little
Good.
Wait, so AJ, is that part number still good? The 0030?
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's go get my car, back it up to the little deal over there. There we go.
All right. So this one is the display one.
That's the display
good
one.
one.
Can we just mark that with something?
Yeah. Got a marker back here. Bill?
Yeah. Did they do anything with it, or did they
It
just?
doesn't look like it. It looks like that one. They just marked and It has a tag there.
Oh yeah, it's all.
So this one, I think they decided the corrosion was too much, but they tagged the
Yeah, okay.
the blade on this. They tagged display
For display
only.
only.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, that's good. Thank you. All right, let me get this out. I'm picking up fuel tanks today too, so I appreciate it. I hope it'll fit. Oh man. Well, you're kidding.
Get a crossways there.
Yeah.
I think that'll shut.
All right. Well, then put the other one over the other way. That's cool because, like I said, when I pick up the fuel tanks, I'm getting rid of.
Okay. Yeah. If we turn this other box sideways, it's not as tall as it is wide.
All right. Appreciate it. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Come on, baby.
Pass the glass. I think we're.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Here we go. Awesome, man. I
They were meant to be
appreciate
in
it.
there.
Yeah, super.
Good seeing
Thank
you.
guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, Kermit.
Awesome. Oh, let me grab my
Oh yeah.
foam. Just chuck that in there really quick. I appreciate that. Good. Awesome. Thanks, sir. You guys have a good one.
All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. There we go. Okay, now I gotta head to Kevin Kimball's and what's his name? Kim Kovach is gonna come and meet me there. He's never seen the Vega. He's never met Kevin, and he's dying to see what's going on. So anyway, cool. Okay, so here we are coming up to Kevin's little airstrip here. Pretty cool. Nice little grass strip. Anyway, so we're coming out to check on the Vega. This is gonna be pretty cool. All right, so that's the Boeing tanks. I got to throw those in too. I brought some foam too.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got some rod. Is this 1100 or like
That's 4043.
4043?
Because if you're going to be putting a 6061 typical bump,
Oh,
then you
okay.
want 4043.
Okay.
If you were just welding the tank, then 1100.
Yeah,
I have
okay.
both if you want some.
No,
1100.
because Jack he's ordered another deal there, and we decided we're going to go ahead and do it we pulled the fuselage tank out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can weld it.
Yeah, so that's what this is 4043.
Yeah, okay. All right. And when you cut that off, did you use anything, just a hacksaw or?
We use a cutoff wheel.
Okay, so the cutoff wheel doesn't leave anything in there.
It's just messy.
Yeah, okay. I'll just cut
So
it
whatever.
off.
What we did, and then we took the Jack provided these,
Right.
and they had the wider flange on
Right.
them, so we just put them in the lathe and turned the flange
Yeah,
off, so it
okay.
was the same size as the original.
Yeah, I think the fuselage tank's got a wider flange on it. So,
That'll make it
yeah,
one
cool.
less step.
All right, yeah, don't let me leave without these.
Right.
Cool. Well, we're getting
Yeah, I mean,
close.
they're nicely built tanks.
Yeah, so Jack, he comes in maybe a day, a week at best, so things aren't happening too fast, but we're clipping away at it. And now that, I'm going to go back and see Roy in January and start having him, once the Bill Allen airplane gets out there, which actually is not going to be till like February, then he's going to have a little bit more room, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the tooling. And Dave Teeters is going to pick up some of the tooling and start looking at potentially doing the pressings for the tail feathers. Mm-hmm. So now I got 3 sets of tail feathers I need to do for the late airplanes. It couldn't all be the same. We got early airplanes, we got late airplanes. We got one airplane that's got half and half, and it's like, I'm not believing it. I think out of 8 airplanes, there's 2 F4B1s. Okay, then there's a Boeing 100, a 100A, two F4B1s, an F4B2, a P12, a P12B, and a P12C. God dang.
And were there more models beyond that? Wasn't it like
Well, no, yeah,
like a
there,
B4?
yeah, there were more models. There were, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But they decided that they were going to do those there.
This
so
is what everybody picked. Like,
yeah, yeah, apparently, yeah. So, oh my gosh, yeah. So, anything else going on?
that's clipping.
Is that a monocoop? Yeah.
Just built the tanks for that.
Who's that for?
Ted Gettle out in Arizona.
Oh, good for you.
So they're tiny.
Huh.
And then Cal right here.
What's happening? How's it going, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. What you doing? Working on
Working on machine parts.
machine parts.
Yeah.
Unreal. Well,
So
look,
when you were here last, we had this machine,
right.
and then we've since added a
You're
CNC
kidding.
lathe. So now we have a CNC lathe as well.
Oh my gosh.
So
Unbelievable. Yeah, one day.
it's one of those things where we had some parts we needed to make, and it makes sense. And then now there's extra time. So these are that's a sample from the previous guy, but we taken over.
I think that's a UFO, isn't it?
Yeah, those don't exist. But racing flywheels. So we do aviation machine work that we
Right,
need,
right.
and for a few other people.
Yeah.
We do some space stuff actually. We do some marine stuff,
Huh.
and then we're doing. The guy that was making these is retiring, so we're
And what are these for?
it's lightweight flywheels for like BMWs and Porsches and things like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Is that
racing
just
flywheels.
2024 or 6061?
That's 6061.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, is that a little carburetor thing there or something? What's that for?
Side throttle body stuff.
Huh.
But,
Man,
yeah,
that is
so-
a piece of equipment. Oh my gosh. So so this is nothing more than, I mean, does this have to like somehow
It's a bar feeder.
but is it like, gotta be like perfect and everything? Yeah.
Yeah. So what we can put 4 foot long sticks of material in here, then it brings it down and automatically feeds through. And so you can have the machine, it'll machine the part, and then when the part's finished, it actually drops it, pushes this door open and drops the part through the door, and so the
Oh my
parts will be
gosh.
sitting.
Does it send out a bill too?
Yeah. The bill comes first.
That is
You see that?
unbelievable.
It's a turret with the tool, so it works just like a manual lathe where you've got, a tool holder and you're doing the work. It's just that it's got 12 stations,
Oh, I see. Okay, that's why it's
and
so.
it can rotate it. Yeah,
And it's a clock at the same time. There you go.
and then we've got dual spindles, so you can put a piece of material in here. They can do the work on the first side of the part,
Right.
transfer it to that chuck, hold it for the second side, finish the part, and then drop off a complete part.
Wow. So, out of curiosity, I mean, this is like for mass production. So, like, what do we do that's a couple off, and what's one where we use this machine?
Yeah, even a couple off pieces, if there's complexity to it, it's still
Right.
more efficient.
Right.
Because we can do in here what would have been 3 or 4 or 5 setups where you might have to, okay, I got to do this and then do this in the lathe, do that in the manual lathe, then I got to go over to the knee
Right,
set up,
right.
do that, and it can do it all. So for the lathe, these are some of the driven tool holders. Like this one of these right there, it's driven on both sides.
Right. This is where the extra expense comes in,
Yeah.
over and above. Man, that's a pretty
Careful
cool.
sharp.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
So then you end up with just
Wow.
tons of stuff you gotta have,
Too cool. All right, let's go see if Kim's showing up.
Okay.
All right, let's do this. Let's grab the foam out. I'm going to use that for the tank. And one of these is, I think this one is the good one. So I hurt my back a little bit. If I get you guys to drag that out. Yeah, so this one I'm basically going to take home. So if this one can come out, yeah, just pull it out. Well, yeah, we'll just set it on the ground over here. And then, awesome.
It's way lighter than I thought it'd be. Little propeller.
Yeah,
It's down to Macaulay.
yeah. Hey, just set it like right over there. All right, we're going to go for a ride. All right, and then I'll tell you what. We'll just go grab the tanks and we'll figure out the best way to put them in there.
He's smelling your dog.
Roscoe, come on.
No, keep going.
Come on, dude. Rock.
I don't know if I can grab that with one hand. Not really. Yeah, okay. All right. Maybe just grab that other one, Kevin.
I'll get it.
All right, it's
Come here,
pretty
come here,
light.
Will. Come on.
Yeah, let's do this. We'll lay one down. Lay it like in there. We'll put one down.
Here, let me hold that down. You help me. I got it. Let's go.
Somehow and just lay one in there.
And we'll just fold the foam out on top of it.
Yeah. Or even if it goes in just vertically. What's happening? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you
Awesome.
too.
Open that up and we'll dump that in there.
Oh, it's all boxed. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so
Hi.
Kim, Kevin,
Nice
to
to
meet you.
finally meet
Fine
you.
to meet you. Yeah.
Kaylin,
Hi, Callan.
Callan, Kermit,
Okay,
Kevin, Kim, Kaylin, Kermit, Kaylin, Kevin, Kim, Kermit, and Kermit, Kim, Kaylin, Kevin. Okay, I got it. Okay, cool.
There's a test later. I'll put these in the back here.
It's just slightly bigger than the space, but I think that might
Well,
be.
here, that might. Well, I think that'll still close like that.
We can close the door and I can lay it on that box.
There you go.
There we go.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, okay, that'll work. Thank you, man.
Kidding. So this is your runway?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
My home airport up in Michigan, where I
Hazel,
flew out of forever, was
she was pinned down.
2,300 feet, but this looks so much
Look down.
longer.
All right, go show them some of your stuff, man.
Yeah, we have a couple of things.
When the
in here.
novelty wears off, they go to a big
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah, you watch some of the videos,
Oh,
right?
you bet.
Yeah, we
Cool.
we text back and forth, and we've
Really?
spoken a couple
Is this
times
the
on
first
phone.
time you met?
Yeah, first time we actually
Okay.
met.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could put this
Although
together.
I've seen him at Oshkosh talking to people.
Oh, really?
but
Cool.
I never
Huh.
met.
Yeah.
That was probably 10 years ago. Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Well, you can't
when-
believe some of this. You're gonna go.
Oh, I
you're gonna
know.
go back to your shop. You're gonna go.
I
Whoa,
know.
my gosh, this is a little primitive. Just on its equipment, not the quality, but
There's the Vega. So,
See, now this goosebumps.
yeah, what's the first word? I always like to know your first words that you think when you're. Yeah, what's your first?
Breathtaking.
yeah.
Breathtaking.
They just took a lot of the metal stuff out because they're setting it out to get cab plated. He's got some cab plating stuff here that they're doing.
The
So.
pedals, they're done.
So a lot of the stuff just got pulled out to get cab plated.
All the tail wheel related stuff, some the door hinges, bunch of brackets and everything for the pedals, all out getting cab plated.
What's the copper strip do?
Everything's bond all the metal fittings together. They did that. So if you look at the four longerons, you or I would call these stringers.
Yeah.
But in this world, these are longerons and these are diaphragms.
Diaphragms?
Diaphragms, yeah. So diaphragm 1 through 15 in the back.
Never
But there's
heard that
16
one.
of them because there's a 9A. There's a 1.5. But so then on the longerons you have the copper strip. And then all the other, if it has metal fittings on it, it'll have copper that joins it to at least one of those bands, taking it forward to the firewall. So they penetrate through the firewall.
Okay.
They
Very
pick up for the
interesting.
engine.
Very interesting. Oh, that's gorgeous.
You see here coming under these fittings. And then the landing gear strut attached fitting goes here. And then the main leg fittings are on the bottom of that station, the bottom of this station.
So continuity is established just by squeezing against the copper? No kidding.
Yeah, they had some of them, it runs underneath on a lot of the fittings like that, and then there's some soldered tabs, you know, just like you'd see on War II stuff where you have a little, you know, Stearman's, and I think some of the other, you know, I know Stearman's did it, but probably other warbirds were bonded. All the fittings and things were bonded in. So, cockpit opening where the bow is, obviously. Back to here. We have the seat components, all this wood, the wall, all built. It's just not in there. It's all been in and back out. Started to put it all in, and then we thought, well, we're gluing this skin on, we're probably going to ruin it. You know,
Really?
drip
You
it,
think
drip out
so?
or whatever. So
Yeah.
let's just leave it out, and then we'll go from there. But,
I see.
these diaphragms have all been cut, and then they're clamped back in place or
yeah.
blocked back in place to hold the skin to keep that stiffness and straightness of the frame. And then once the second side's on, we can cut this cockpit opening, cut the wing opening all the way back.
It sits up
And
here,
Yeah.
spars.
Yeah, the belly of the wing comes over here. The headliner that's in the cabin is actually on the underside of the wing. The dome light is in the wing.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that is the ceiling.
That was Lockheed's dome idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
We've got the door frames all made, and once the skin goes on, then the door frame will get put in, glued into the inside, then slice it out.
Does this get, there's 4 windows on that side, that's an emergency exit.
Yeah.
This one gets in the
Right.
door too?
Right. There's 4 windows on this side. There's 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th window's here.
The toilet doesn't get
It's
one.
interesting how these taper down at the bottom. That's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, and it's just under 3 inches here,
Uh-huh.
and then it starts to taper, and then when you look down at this station, this level down here, it goes back to straight again. And it's straight down there because the gear attach fittings are kind of have a U saddle part around them that wrap around the wood to kind of attach it on. So it was a kind of a complicated thing to do.
But you see what they're doing, this is all structure up here, and once you get past the landing gear deal, that's just all hanging down
so
below.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, so
I'm
they're
not
just-
down there for the landing.
No, they're
gear.
just trying to
It's
save
right
weight.
there,
So
yeah.
the shock strap
Yeah.
pushes here.
Sure,
And
okay.
then the V-legs attach down there.
Yeah.
Now, if this were a low-wing airplane, it's basically this diaphragm gets turned upside down,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and the big thick part is at the bottom.
Because the wings,
The wing's at the bottom.
fuselage will land on
So
the wing.
the fuselages for the variations of these airplanes were
All the same
that,
tooling.
they were same tooling but rearranged differently on the inside?
Yeah. These diaphragms for the low wing airplane, they push the wing up into the fuselage quite far, so the bottom of the wing was flush with the fuselage. So the diaphragm's actually cut off about in here, and so the beefy part's all down in the lower end. Or if you did an Air Express where it has the parasol wing, the diaphragm looks like this, but it's not cut off right here. It continues on around, and it has just big fittings that are going out to cabane struts
I see.
instead of saddled right on it. But yeah, it's all the same parts.
On the Airmail Express, and the cabanes went out, was the rest of it just basically rigged with cables, streamlined flying wires?
For the
For the Airmail Express. So if the wing was sitting up here,
it's completely just on the cabanes. So it's big cabanes and diagonal struts. So it's
oh, diagonal struts, not wires.
No, it's
Okay,
all
yeah,
strutted.
yeah, that
All
would
strutted.
make sense. That
and there's a
would-
couple
yeah.
of welded up beams that go across, so
Right.
we put some of the load transfer.
Right.
But what they did is they looked at that when they put the wing up, it allowed them to gain back this volume they lose where the wing sits.
Right.
And because it was built as a freighter.
For the fuselage, because the
And the
pilot sat back here.
He's sitting back here.
So they had like 6 people sitting in here, and the pilot's sitting here, open cockpit, basically,
Or-
looking up with a parasol.
Yeah, yeah, or a bunch of freight.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because Kevin's got all the drawings, and they had about 5 different models of these things, and the only one that doesn't exist is the
Air Express.
Air Express with the parasol, you know, and if we ever did a next one, I'm thinking that's the one we do in Roscoe Turner colors.
Yeah, and you have the wheel pants off of it sitting in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Roscoe's airplane had 3 different sets of wheel pants on it in its life.
Really?
And the set of wheel pants that you got in the tall man stuff.
Is one of them?
One of the pair is off of that airplane.
I've got the original airplane.
That's right. There's another guy, a guy I know who has one of the previous set of wheel pants. He has one, and it's all still the original paint with
Right.
the decals. Might have seen it on Paul Moat, and so, but
Is that the big fat ones I sent you the pictures of?
no, they're the
Oh, yeah, okay,
the
those skinny ones, okay.
Yeah.
So what are those fat ones from?
Well, then when they have the balloony tires on, so if you look at the Shell Vega, look at when you get a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
It has a big
Right.
old
Right,
pregnant
right.
dumping pants on.
Yeah, okay.
Go around the big area, the balloony tires.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I guess those came out of tall mans. I
Must have.
Yeah. You know.
So you've got, and the other 2 pairs of wheel pants you have are off of Sirius. Two different Sirius. What a Sirius
Yeah,
is.
I think yeah.
But yeah, that's what they were from. Because
can't-
tall mans had 2 of those.
Yeah. Well, Kermit's the only one that can get too serious.
right.
Oh man, pretty cool. I mean,
What do you think, Mr.
Kim, can you imagine what went into doing this? I mean,
I can imagine. And that's why it's breathtaking.
it's just unreal.
So we found
Smooth.
we had it sliced into the veneers, and the veneers are 78 thousandths, 39 thousandths, so 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters.
Okay.
So the outer and inner are basically 1 millimeter or 39 thousandths, and then the middle cross layer, which is about 3-inch wide strips for the middle core, that's 78 thousandths. So it ends up 4 millimeters thick, about 157,000.
Well, now I understand why these are.
That's
Are these scarves?
Yeah.
scarves.
Oh, they are scarves.
Those are
Okay.
Kindle One scarves. So
Boy, they are clean. Wow.
the veneers that we had made were about 9 inches wide,
Uh huh.
7 to 9 kind of variable, on the lumber, and they
Yeah.
came through at about 40 to 45 thou thick, because that's just what it is. So then I tried planing them, and things destroyed. It was gone.
I see.
So then we got a drum sander, a thickness sander,
Mhm.
and sanded them to thickness, so everything was the right thickness. At first I thought it wouldn't matter, but then when I'm trying to put a piece of 40 thick scarfed against a piece of 43 thick, you couldn't get a good joint. So
Usually when they're scarves, they're kind of wavy, and I'm impressed with how straight those are.
I'll show you I can't, it's in storage, but I'll send you a picture of the fixture that we made for doing that.
Uh huh.
We built a 22-foot long, 1-foot wide table for laminating, making the strips, and cutting them out to shape. And on the end of that, I built a scarf fixture that it goes in and take a little belt sander and sand the scarf, and then take it out, go down the road. So it worked out pretty good. We had some sacrificial replaceable surfaces on that, so as it wore down, the steel would just replace it.
Now, are these scarves this way as well,
No,
or are they?
that's butt joints.
They're butt joints with a layer probably centered on that.
Well, then the mid layer of this is now 90 degrees. So it's
Oh,
built-
okay.
It's built just like 90-degree plywood.
Okay. Yeah.
so just out of curiosity, on the inside, is this scarf thing in a different place, or is it like down here? What?
Well, the inside skin, it's slightly off.
Yeah.
The inner layer, the inside of this.
Right.
So if we look on the fuselage, here you can see scarves on the outside.
Right.
Then there's scarves on the inside that look quite similar, but we shift them a couple inches.
Yeah, okay. All right. So here, let me get on the other side and I'll pick one out and I'll tell you where one is. Yeah, so so here's one right here. Here's one right here.
Yeah.
That's
here-
down about that far.
Yeah, this one is a head on the inside because it's
Okay.
hidden by the diaphragm.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense too. Put them on the diaphragms if you can.
Where it would.
Yeah.
It's when we looked at the information, and we had those factory photos I showed you where there's guys working in the factory.
Right.
There you can see all these strips of wood and everything that they're dealing with, but you don't see them in action actually building
Right.
any of it.
Huh.
But it's we could see that how they were scarfing, and the documentation says the scarf should be staggered 3 feet, you know, from row to row to row. So then it's figuring out, okay, I've got all this 9 foot long or 10 foot long lumber. How do I best utilize that to make? I need a whole bunch of 3 foot pieces and 10 foot pieces, and you know, all the different ones to get the stagger the way we wanted it.
Huh.
So we made up enough. We made up the individual gore strips that go from nose to tail. I made up 10. It needed 8, so 2 sets, 4 for here, 4 for there, because it's symmetrical. There's 7 unique shapes, so 1 through 7 on this side, 7 through 1 on the other side.
Oh,
And then
okay.
inside and out's the same. So we made up 10, so that when we broke one, because it's super fragile, you're dealing with it. And we used up 9 of the 10 sets to make the 2 skins.
Wow.
Just
Huh.
because of handling it, and it's like you're moving something, all of a sudden it shatters, and not like glass going away. Yeah. The skin, that skin from nose to tail weighs about 55 pounds. So it's pretty light.
That's very light.
So how did you, I mean, this was formed on this.
Yes.
So how did this end up being made?
I drew that up once I had with the drawings for the diaphragms.
Correct.
I designed this plug,
Right.
and then we CNC routed out the shapes. Offset down a 1/2 inch for the thickness
Right.
of this. CNC routed all that out. If we go underneath, it's a grid, like an egg crate of
Okay.
pieces holding it all together. And it built it like a buck that you would build, for forming sheet metal or anything else. So then, and then these are done like a strip canoe, like a cedar strip canoe,
Okay.
where it has a cove on one edge and then a radius on the other. And so those pieces all key together. And we just started gluing and nailing them on. And
Yeah, see, what he had the ability to do is it was all done in CAD.
Right.
So, he designed the shape of the deal,
Sure.
the fuselage, and then the CAD knows what the angle is.
Yeah.
And so when he cuts all these things out, I mean, the Lockheed guys were drawing them out and filing them by hand, and
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
their plug was made out of 2-inch thick lumber, and it was solid. So from the bottom here all the way up, it was vertical pieces like this
Wow.
that they cut. And so then it looked like a wedding cake, all stacked together, and then they carved all that out.
No kidding.
And then once they had that plug, they used, because it's really heavy, they used that plug to make their concrete female mold for making the skins. So then they had the plug sitting over here for fitting up the wood pieces on. And then we take those the assembled layer of the skin, put it in the concrete mold, which was then had a pressure bladder to press the skin into the female.
Okay.
So a 20-ton concrete mold for one airplane seemed a little bit much.
Yeah.
So what we did is, and the guys that did Walt Bowe's airplane up at John Desmond's.
Walter
up
Bowe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Shell Vega.
He bought some antique parts from me years ago. Yeah.
Well, they vacuum bagged the skins, and so that's what we did here. We did the same thing. So this is airtight, and so we put the inner layer on, the
Okay.
middle layer on, and then vacuum bagged it down, and that gave us the same 15 psi that the factory was using.
No kidding.
So we had 15 psi, and
So-
it didn't try to kill us.
So so when you say the vacuum bag, so what was actually creating the force that was putting it down? I mean, how?
It looks like saran wrap or thin plastic.
Right, exactly.
So what we had on here, so the wood stopped at the line, and that gave us this 2 inches of extra
Right.
to stick down and seal the bag with vacuum bagging tape. It's a covered
Okay.
double stick
Okay.
tape. And then over the top of the wood, just as if we were doing a composite part, fiberglass, there's a mat looks like felt, kind of flannel,
Right.
that goes on that would absorb any resins and things if you were doing a composite
Right,
part. But here we just had it to give us some good channeling for the vacuum underneath the plastic. And on top of that was a plastic bag, and we had, I think, 4 or 5 ports down through the center going over to a vacuum pump, and it sucks it all down. So that it's from the process, we had the bag, Cal and I had the bag pre-fitted, all the plumbing on it, everything ready to go, sitting to the side. And then we had 5 of us, 1 mixing glue, 4 smearing glue, and we put glue on both layers, and then say the middle layer came onto the inner layer was here already, and then the breather, then the bag, seal it all down, pull the vacuum on it, and that was about 52 to 53 minutes.
So, okay, so I'm still trying to figure out it's sucking the deal down.
Yeah.
So the bag's got to be underneath the thing, or
No, this is airtight.
This is airtight.
So we seal down to the perimeter of this, and it's
Oh,
taking
I
all
see,
the
I
atmosphere
see.
out and just pressing it down to it.
Ah,
And we wax this.
okay.
And even when you're using wood glues, it doesn't really stick to varnished and pretty stuff. So it's not like, just waxing it was good enough. Now, it pulls down hard enough. We may be able to see it on here, but it's hard to see. But with the glare on it, because it's all sealed up. But you can see, I was trying to find on some of this, there's a little line right here.
Yeah, right.
That's a piece of the clear cellophane tape right here. That's how tight it pulls down. That's clear packaging tape. That's what a cup, 4 mils or 3 mils thick, and it'll press a line in it. So it's uniform, distributed pressure.
Wow.
So,
Well, that's a technique that really sucks. It
Yeah.
does a good job, though.
and you look at the pictures in the factory with the big concrete mold. Now the downside is, we did it in 2 steps. We did the inner to the middle, stopped, and then we added the 3rd layer on another bagging. That way we're only dealing with it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were able to put all 3 layers in,
Wow.
and then they have this huge plate that's made out of 10-inch I-beam, 1-inch bolts, that thick top plate with a big rubber bladder on it that they would lower down and bolt down
Pressure.
and pressurize it.
So the layers were done maybe in not the same day because of that. Is that what you're saying?
We did two different days.
2
for
different
us.
days. Yeah. Okay. Well,
So we did the first 2 layers in the first bagging session.
Because I'm amazed at the volume of glue that has
It's
a
lot-
45-minute work life or
Yeah,
something like that.
it's a lot of square inches.
Yeah.
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 So
and,
the first skin, which is actually this one, we did about this time of year today's unusually warm for
Yeah.
December, but we did it November, December time of year. And it's like, nothing to it. And when we got to do the second skin, like, crap, it's May, June, now what? And so then that's why we had moved everything in here and we turned the ACs on
Yeah.
and just brought it down. And then we're able
that's
to
good.
keep that working time that we needed to
Yeah.
get everything done.
And you had 5 guys on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So one guy, he's the glue master. We were mixing glue, making sure everybody has glue, and then we were putting it on with rollers, and then chasing that, and then it was just the 2 of us putting the skin in place. Sometimes you have too many people, So 2 of us put the skin in place. Once it was locked down in place where we wanted it, then bag goes on, and it's kind of a hustle. And then you're doing anything, just like you do any kind of vacuum bagging work on composite parts. Now you're going around chasing leaks and listening for leaks and trying to get everything sealed up. Calvin's running around with a hose, listening to it, finding the leaks. And
Unreal.
then we, it needed to be under bag for like 8 hours. We left it overnight, just 24. A little bit more doesn't hurt.
Sure.
And then we stripped that off. It's probably about a 2 or 3 day turnaround to do the next layer.
So when you took the vacuum bag off the first layup, did you find that you had a need to clean up
Very
and,
little.
and touch up before?
Very little.
Yeah.
There's a little bit. You get a little bit of leak through
Okay.
at the joints, and the mid layer is circumferential strips. Just they're going that way, 3 inches wide. There's about 72 or 75 of those from nose to tail, but a little bit of bleeding. But it wasn't too bad because the fit was really good. And the other thing was that the glue itself you get some expansion in the wood because we've got everything fairly dry and fairly cool while we're trying to work on it. And then you introduce moisture to it, and now it's waking up and it's growing. So it tightened up really pretty nice. Now, the way that we patterned all these is I made first paper templates of the shapes off the CAD.
Wow.
Okay, I flattened all these in CAD and I made paper templates. Then I made 1/8 inch thick masonite patterns. So then that 9-inch strip that's scarf joined together and it's on that long skinny table I was talking about.
Tapered.
We clamped that pattern on top of it. And then you've probably seen quilting. It's like a roller, it's a wheel razor knife. Oldfoot makes it. That's what I used, and just went right along the side of the pattern like this on the table, cut machine.
Yeah, okay. That's
So
cool.
There was a. Then when you're putting it together, these are held together with veneering tape, which is a perforated brown paper tape that's kind of water activated.
Okay.
So you put that on there, and as it dries, it actually draws the two veneers tighter together. So if you're doing book match stuff on cabinetry or something, you can use that to hold it.
And does any of the, the butt joint there, does any glue come out this way a
Very,
little bit?
very little.
Very little. So potentially these are just butt joints.
Right.
With no, okay, interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, show them some of your computer CAD in
Oh,
there.
sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I was telling Kermit earlier that, this hole right here, these two holes are the real nervy ones to cut. Because you have to cut that before you can get the skin close enough to find out if you cut them in the right spot.
Oh,
So I've got them cut on that one. We've already had that up on the fuselage on the other side. But that's the one that's the high tension cut. And then trimming the edges are now easy after that. That skin is over there is probably 1 inch too long, front to back. It's about 1 inch too long at the center. And then if you look maybe hard to see, but if you look here, this skin is trimmed that side of center. You see that if center line would be about 3/32 towards me.
yeah.
And it's pretty, another example of the Lockheed boys being pretty sharp. First skin goes on, that gets trimmed off 3/32 short of center. The second skin gets fitted, because you can't really glue it on if it's lapping like this, it won't glue down. So you have to get it to where it drops in. And if you inadvertently, where you've glued stuff up where, like putting a leading edge skin or plywood on, and you do it all dry fit, and it fits perfect. You put glue on it, and now it seems like it's 1 inch longer. It's running into stuff because you get the lubrication from the glue, and it can slide even better. So this allows you to cut it. Like this skin will get trimmed about to center line, and that'll leave a little gap to where the two don't butt together, and it doesn't make the skin do that when we tighten it down.
No kidding. That's interesting.
Once this one's dry, this will get routed out to be an exact 3/16 gap, and a filler strip goes in there.
Oh,
When you go back to fantasy,
Yeah.
go look at the old fuselage in the areas where there's original wood, and
Yeah.
you'll see that 3/16 filler strip in the drawing.
Oh, really? Interesting. I'm just wondering, for like these things here, is there anything you could have done on the mold with CAD to just have something to where something went in, you could go in there, or maybe just have like 4 little holes that would give you the highlight it?
Yes, yes, you could do that, but that then takes away the option to be able to do this just a little bit with the skin and find a
Yeah. Well, no, what I was saying was you make the skin, but the mold actually has little things where you can take the deals out and just drill
Yeah.
a couple of 16th holes there and go, okay,
Yeah,
that's
be
the
a
point.
starting point.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Could do
Show them the
that.
CAD deal in here. God, this is amazing.
This is just a representation of the skin. I made the skin. That is the model of the skin, but then I made it and I sliced it up into all the little strips and then pulled those out of it. But there you can see the 4 windows with the escape hatch, emergency exit on the other side.
That is just too cool.
And then the toilet's back here. What's interesting about the toilet is that most of the time you'd be flying around with it looking like that, and then there'd be a jump seat here and a fixed seat over there. If you're going to use the toilet, the jump seat comes out, because if you see how it's arranged,
Yeah.
where do your feet go? You can't really
Yeah.
use it. So it's set up where
Face
this,
backwards.
this is a sliding partition that comes forward, and then this door opens, and you go and you use it, and you can close the door behind you. And we don't have the drawings for the tracks, but I have in the drawing list it says lavatory wall tracks.
I'll
I
be
know
darned.
that there's drawings out
Huh.
there, but I don't have them.
We're gonna have a little sign back there that says, "Please don't use the toilet over populated areas."
And here's this little lab sink folds out, and you got the little 1.25 gallon tank here that feeds it, and they'll spigot and that kind of thing. And it's got this little funny little shape on it. So if it, you're using that lab sink, it looks like this, horizontal in the airplane, and you use the water, and then you fold it shut, and then it dumps itself out
Oh wow!
into the bilges down here and goes out the drain.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, and if we look at like this photo, here's the lab sink door, here's the toilet, here's the partition wall pulled forward, and the jump seat is out. And then here's the fold out desk it has with the filing cabinets. We've got all that stuff made, and then we have the typewriter.
Original typewriter.
Yeah.
The correct color.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
And then
cool.
here you can see all the tail wheel stuff that's out being CAD plated. The trunnion's not showing up right there. I turned it off. And then here's how the pedals all mount in there. All this pilot floor is done. The pilot seat is done. The wall here is all finished. Even the fold-up pilot door is done. It's just not in there so we can get the skin on without getting all that messy.
I remember when it was Dave Jameson
Mm-hmm.
restored this airplane,
Mhm.
called it a restoration,
Uh,
but it
oh, back then, yeah.
and everybody thought it was the most
Yeah.
amazing thing at the
Yeah.
time. And but the difference between then
Oh
and now
my gosh, yeah.
is just enormous.
Yeah, well, you saw the
yeah.
original. What was
Yeah.
it? Because GE had it for a while, and it got all chopped up. And
So if you see the instrument lights here,
yeah,
that's what this is. This was made by, I'm gonna butcher the company name right now, I don't have it on top of my head, but it was an aftermarket part for Model A Ford automobiles for the dash light. It was a better dash light. And Amelia's airplanes, Wiley's airplanes, they're all in there. It was standard equipment in the airplanes. It was and then I started searching for them. We were looking all over, and somebody said, well, that looks like the overhead light in the DC-3 C-47's overhead light in the cockpit. And I said, really? And so I went to, was it Air Parts, I think, that has a bunch of
in Kansas.
the DC-3 stuff.
Yeah.
And so I went on there and I said, hey, I'm looking for, by that time I'd looked it up and found out what the part number was for the Douglas part number. And I said, you have any? And said, well, we have one. And I said, well, I'm looking for two. So well, we have one. Well, how much you want for it? $35. So I bought it. And then he said, well, we really have two, but the other one is, the plating's not as nice. So I bought two of them for $35.
Oh, be darned.
And so we have the correct light, just like,
wow.
because it was an automotive thing that got used in
Huh.
Lockheed and Douglas airplanes of multiple models.
Did Bassler have something like that?
They did, and I talked to them, and they said, we won't sell them to you because we want to keep them.
Wow.
Yeah, they need them for the airplanes they're building.
Yeah. Unreal. Huh.
Yeah.
They owe me some stuff, actually. I gave them 3 sets of DC-3 skis. So they still owe me for stuff. I need to follow up on that.
Train them alike.
Yeah. How much $35 go into
Right.
about probably $10,000 worth of skis?
This is some of the airplanes we've done over the years.
Yeah. So they did he built the GBZ.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I ended up really connected with Kim was he did the little Ike racer there. So it's going to be great. We'll keep everybody informed about what we're up to. So Kermit Weeks over and out.